자막, 서브타이틀의 장벽도 아니죠. 한 1인치 정도 되는 그 장벽을 뛰어넘으면 여러분들이 훨씬 더 많은 영화를 즐길 수 있습니다.
Once you overcome the 1-inch tall barrier of subtitles, you will be introduced to so many more amazing films.
It's safe to say that I have tried to present time and time again that Indian content represents more than just Hindi films. While I have sung praises of the various industries of different languages, I've also seen the discourse around the content from different states and Hindi film cinema become rather toxic. While the criticism of Hindi film content was justified during the pandemic period when you were noticing new and inventive projects being produced in other languages that were integrating the real life circumstances all of us were dealing with in their screenplay, the Hindi film industry or Bollywood saw a slump of rather underwhelming projects. But this also has given the reins of the discourse around content becoming so reductive and of absolutes that you only see statements being flung around like Bollywood is over, Bollywood is anti-national, and flippant remarks as if creators are not trying hard enough. The reality is that there is both good and bad in every industry. I mean, look at the Tamil film industry for example. You had a project like Mahan and a dud like Valimai. The Telugu film industry presented impressive projects like Shyam Singha Roy and Love Story, but also presented an ideation failure like Radhe Shyam. I mean, the Malayalam film industry, which you criticized me to be biased about, had noteworthy ventures like Hridayam and Bhishma Parvan, but also rather forgettable projects like Cold Case and Bro Daddy. But through this video, I want to recommend a few projects from different states that deserve your attention because that's what this channel is about. Not just celebrating and acknowledging the cringe, but also shedding light on films that leave us spellbound and proud that such a range of stories come from one place called India. So here is Tried&Refused Productions with top 5 mind-blowing non-Hindi Indian movies you need to watch and celebrate now. Number 5 goes to Mail. This is a project that left a lasting smile on my face, not because of the circumstances it presents, because trust me, they go rather out of hand, but the simplicity and naive state of the characters that the film aims to portray. Somehow the treatment of Amol Palekar film seems to be missing in the lineup of various productions across the nation. It might be reflective of the evolution of the national conscience, but I don't agree entirely. The film is set during the period of 2005, a time period in which most millennials were being introduced over understanding the nascent stage of technology becoming a daily part of our life. Set in the village of Kambalpalli in Telangana, the film focuses on the curiosity within the character of Ravi, played by Harshit, who wants to learn about computers, but the college in the village provide no courses for the same. When an individual comes from the city to set up a cyber gaming cafe in the village, Ravi feels unexplainably drawn to the revolutionary technology only to spend most of his days hovering around the system. When the intimidating technology takes advantage of the same naive nature of the village folk, the whirlwind that follows forms the storyline of this humble and hilarious film. Presenting mostly newcomers other than the effortlessly funny Priyadarshi as the cyber cafe owner, the movie takes you on a journey of nostalgia and also reflects on the basic human tendency in wanting to change one's sorry circumstances, no matter what the journey may entail. Beautifully written and executed by debutant Uday Gurula, the film hasn't got the attention from the masses and it surely deserves the same. The characters across the village, from the moneylenders to the family members and Ravi's close peers, really work together to enhance the quality of this movie. The last half an hour and the culmination of events lead to a comedy of errors that will guarantee you an entertaining viewing experience. Number 4 goes to Freedom Fight. Anthologies usually have a connotation of being mixed bags, and especially in 2022, most people feel like the medium has become saturated in the current market, so much so that there isn't even an anticipation of the same. But if there is a collection of short stories that in their own unique way present something special, almost making you feel as if you bought something cohesive, something complete, it will be the Malayalam anthology on Sony Live titled Freedom Fight. The connotation of freedom varies from person to person. The definition of this term for each person varies depending on their upbringing, culture, financial status, gender, and various other prerogatives, and this is precisely what this anthology aims to shed light on and successfully does portray. Geetu Unchained presents a formidable Rajasha Vijayan who is trying to circumvent the basic freedom of a woman to choose her life partner. The film takes a satirical route that often transitions to hypotheticals, leading to hilarious sequences but a bittersweet impact owing to the reality of certain circumstances. The Unorganized, my favorite of the lot and in my opinion the most impactful, takes a look at blue-collar working women who don't have the basic right of available and accessible washrooms. Dismissed as a luxury and not a pressing matter, the women take the reins of the same to struggle and tussle against all odds for something that should be the basic human necessity that should be non-negotiable. Surinda, especially in this story, shines as such a gifted performer. While Rashan brought out the anxiety within me exploring the class divide apparent in our neighborhoods, and Joju George in Old Age Home shines in a trap unwarranted and naturally arising, it is really Isaac Thomas's Prathamu that really stayed with me, shedding light on most services that are looked down upon but considered to be the norm. The freedom to choose, however, for those very tasks are barely debated upon as an option, leading to a formidable tale on human nature on how we consider the very concept of freedom only when it suits our convenience and needs. This anthology, unlike others, will definitely hook you in. Number 3 goes to Yesterday's Past. Probably one of the most atmospheric and heartbreaking films that I saw this month was an Odia film titled Yesterday's Past, directed by Neela Madha Panda. The film showcases Gunu, played hauntingly by Pito Bash, embarking upon a futile journey to reunite with his family already ravaged and consumed by a cyclone. The journey of a man consumed by trauma beyond repair portrays several images of his family members reprimanding him and coaxing him to be more productive, representative of the individual's personality and the relationships before the travesty occurred. The film is not an easy watch in any way, as it mostly presents long-running sequences of a man in a frenzy, assisted by little to no dialogues, and this precisely requires a brilliant actor to communicate this effectively. Pito Bash, an actor who is mostly reduced to supporting character roles, shines like never before, portraying the hysteria within Gunu with such ease. The frames of this film captured by Nagraj Divakar is something that really makes this film a home run. The story of emotional trauma and triumph is based on the cyclone that ravaged the village of Sattavaya in the year 1999. One of the most calamity-prone states of the country, Odisha saw an entire village and population decimated beyond recovery. People think about the same event as manifesting like an apocalypse, the dread and darkness still reminding them of the day when time stood still, and an alarming tale of the sheer impact of our destructive ways and how Mother Nature reacts with sheer ferocity. A personal journey through the film, yes, but a collective battle in real life that many of us don't know about. Number 2 goes to Kasav. The concept of mental health is evolving in this country, sadly at a pace which is extremely slow according to me. When I still see public discourse regarding the topic, I feel mostly embarrassed at the antiquated perception of a rather complex topic. As a nation, we work in binaries a lot, and a sense of grey leads to nuance which very few have time for. The Marathi film Kasav, a movie recommended by many of you in the comments below, really took me by surprise, for the sensitivity and tact with which it deals with the topic. The same aspects that are often tough to explain in a screenplay format. The movie, directed by Sumitra Bhave and Sunil Suktankar, focuses on Janki, played by Iravati Harshe, who finds Manav, played by Alok Rajwade, lying outside a dhaba in the scorching sun. Hospitalized for cutting his wrist, the young kid flees the hospital only to lie helplessly and vulnerable in the middle of the street. Janki takes the responsibility in rehabilitating the kid in some way, while constantly having to deal with her struggle with anxiety and depression, working on the conservation of Olive Ridley's sea turtles and consulting with her own psychologist in order to deal with her daily struggles step by step. The film is a layered piece that shines because of its attention to detail. Dr. Mohan Agashe, a producer of the film, also lends a beautiful contribution with his cameo. Set in the mesmerizing Konkan, the film sheds light on modern-day struggles of a loss of community, the inability to persevere through every hardship, and the degradation physically as the mind also seems to rot from within. Channeling back to the serenity and peace offered by nature and the life cycle of the turtles, the film is poetic in many ways and offers a dialogue of empathy we don't often get to see in popular media. A national award-winning film, by the way, that failed to get distributors so that it could have a theatrical run.
We have been trying is that we want our films to be cinematically experimental, at the same time entertaining for the audience, user-friendly in today's terms you can say, and also socially relevant. So actually we have a very good bond and a relationship with our audience. The problem is with the distribution system and the finance system.
Number 1 of course goes to Kadaisi Vivasayi. By far one of the most impactful and beautiful films I have seen in recent weeks is Kadaisi Vivasayi, written and directed by M. Manikandan. The film focuses on a village where lightning has struck one of the oldest trees and reduced it to ruins. The village folk believe that such an atrocity has occurred due to the lack of worship to their deities, making them prepare for a ceremony where the best of offerings will be provided to the gods, one of which includes the first symbolic grain, many depending on Mayandi, played by Nalandi, the only existing farmer in the village. The film sheds light on the trials and tribulations the simple, frugal and almost stoic individual deals with while being hounded by capitalist young folk who want to sell his land, the disintegration of sustenance farming, and the loss of societal unity that is riddled with caste differences. Vijay Sethupathi, playing the role of Ramya, Mayandi's son, who plays a heartbroken vagabond seeking for answers, also acts like a beautiful subplot, contributing immensely to the layered messaging of the film. Cryptically being referenced as the only sane one, the film provides a commentary on the rapid corporatization of most processes and the complete dissolution of the individual. Nalandi and his reaction to the several elements that aim to sabotage his simplistic goals of just wanting to tend to his field will make your heart reach out to him. A film that simply should not go unnoticed, as they come few and far between. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below whether you have some recommendations for the channel. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.